lift your award up a little bit. That's it. Congratulations, Chris, on your award.
Good. Thank you very much. It's a wonderful awards event that I think will continue to go from strength to strength.
Now, it's been a remarkable season for you. You've virtually kept Brighton in the Premiership. Can you tell me how, in a proportion, a magnitude of 1 to 10, where does it rank in your achievements?
I'm not sure 1 to 10, but very high up. We took Brighton into the Premier League for the first time in the club's history. The club had been in the old First Division many years ago, but I think for some 32 years they've not been in the top division. So the achievement of that is down to a lot of people, but certainly on a personal level it would be right up there with my best achievements.
Now, a lot of people don't know about your African roots. Can you share them with us? How are you connected to Africa? Tell us, please.
Yes. Well, my father's from Ghana, from Accra, central Jamestown, very central in Accra. Went there a few times, although I was born in England, and my father would go back reasonably regular. Probably not so much in recent years, but I've had the joy of going to Ghana, and I've seen also how Ghana has developed, certainly over the last sort of 15-20 years. From a football front, there are some hugely exciting players coming from Ghana, and of course a lot of exciting players that are already playing in England and of course in the Premier League.
Is it your ultimate ambition to manage Ghana one day?
No, I've been asked that question a few times. Probably I would have to be honest and say no, because my real desires are to continue to manage at club level, where of course you're working with players day to day. But at some stage, if I decide that the international route is for me, of course the Ghana job is one that's always one of interest. But predominantly I prefer the day-to-day involvement of working with players.
I remember you then as a fullback with Tottenham Hotspur winning FA Cup medals, but what I particularly remember about you is being part of that successful Irish team, which led up to the one that eventually did fantastic.
Well, as a player, they were some of my most exciting days. As we spoke about, my father's from Ghana, my mother's from Ireland. So I represented Ireland at international level, and the club or the country hadn't been to a major championship. And in 1988 we managed to qualify for European competition and do very well. In our first game we beat England in what was probably the game that most Irish supporters will remember more than anything, and of course the team then went on to the 1990 World Cup, going to USA in '94, and of course Korea, and it was the start of I think something big and exciting for the national team.
5 African teams in the World Cup. Which one do you think is going to go further?
I think it's a very very difficult question to answer, because there are 5 teams that all deserve to be there. Nigeria maybe are the team that have more experience, have players that have played at the best level, consistently played at the best level. So possibly Nigeria, but it's very difficult, because once you come into a cup competition, then anything can happen, and I think we would all like to hope that more importantly that the 5 African teams and nations can go as far as they can in the competition.
Now, I've got to ask you this question: who's your money on to win the World Cup?
I think generally you will go with the favourites, the big, your Spains, your Germanys. I think England will surprise a few people. I think what will work, I think, in England's favour is that I think the expectation levels, because of of not doing so well in the previous World Cups, I think the expectation level will not be so high, and I think that will help them as a team. So I expect England to do quite well, but generally you tend to look at the favourites, your Spain's, your Germany's, your Brazil's, your Argentina's. So it will be amongst them, I'm quite sure.
Thank you very much for your time.